Hey traders, checking in on the market today. We started with more of the same of yesterday with our tech sector and high flyers selling off to start the morning. But then there was a bounce attempt. We'll see how it played out, and we'll also go over a 5-minute head and shoulders, which was a beauty. See you in a minute.
Introducing the Chart Guys Swing Report, a weekly digital publication that uses technical analysis to identify long-term market opportunities. Understand the market from a swing trade perspective. Follow institutional money as it rotates from sector to sector, and make the most of the Swing Report's weekly trade opportunities, with key entry and exit levels provided. Performance is tracked and updated weekly. For more information, visit us at chartguys.com. Now, let's check out some charts.
So we started the morning with further weakness in QQQ. It started gapping down open and it continued weak. Just a slow fade with no bottom in sight. We know we're scouting for daily higher lows on a lot of names. QQQ, SPY, a lot of the big names, and we need hourly trend changes back to the bulls for our daily higher lows to be set. So we had a nice bounce this morning, but we're not confirming hourly trend changes just yet. So here's SPY on the hourly time frame. The low of the day, the high of the bounce was 355.18. We pulled back and we held the low of the day, but we would have to break 355.18, which we failed to do into the close. That would confirm the hourly trend change. It's entirely possible that happens overnight tonight and we open higher and our daily higher low is set. And it's entirely possible the futures overnight trades lower and we continue the hourly downtrend that we've had the last couple of days. Today we ended a bit ambiguous where either could be entirely possible and it's not enough conviction for me to want to swing trade anything because either scenario could absolutely happen tonight overnight. Once we set our daily higher low, we'll then be watching for a lower high looking at the S&P 500 futures chart, reminding ourselves that that high was hit in extended hours, and I would be watching for a 4-hour lower high compared to 3674.80 if this bounce does get followed through. So I'm not expecting a daily higher low to be set on SPY and then just straight to a new all-time high because of how big of an upper wick we had yesterday. So what I would be watching for is, if this bounce continues overnight tonight, watching for that lower high tomorrow compared to 3674, then watching for a higher low and watching things to tighten up if we get the bounce overnight tonight. IWM is a daily inside bar. If we break it bearish, there's tons of space for a daily higher low to form, but overall remaining very strong. And IWM just gave us the highest close all time, which is certainly, well, I jinxed it, maybe not. Got to go back here when we were hitting all time highs. Strongest close 173.02. Nope. One of the highest closes ever, but not the highest close. So watching the inside bar in the direction that it breaks and holding on strong today as pretty much the financial sector and the healthcare sector held on for the most part. They pretty much offset each other and it looked like QQQ was driving what SPY was doing. QQQ mattered more as there was more volatility going on. So here's the Qs pulling back, gap down open. We know we're looking for a daily higher low compared to 266.97. That's a lot of space to work with. Have to change the hourly trend, which we were unable to do. We hit the low of the day, we had a great bounce, but just an hourly lower high, and then we didn't have any convincing hourly trend change into the end of the day. Could we open lower tomorrow? Absolutely. Hourly trend change needed to have confidence in the daily higher low. Healthcare broke the low of yesterday, but not a whole lot of follow through. And the weakness in healthcare this morning was offset by strength in the financial sector. So again, they were both balancing each other out, and it was QQQ that was driving the show today. So XLF, good sign for the bulls to keep these gains. We are not seeing profit taking. We're not falling back into the gap fill. If this inside bar breaks bearish, then we will be looking for a daily higher low to form, but a nice strong close and looking up at the high of 27.44, potentially in play tomorrow if the bulls hold these gains overnight. Biotech sector, short-term bear break, 119.09 support broke, but only by 25 cents. And overall, bulls keeping control. If that level can continue to hold, did we change the hourly trend back to the bulls? Nope. I would call Hourly resistance, let's turn extended hours on to space things out. Hourly resistance from yesterday, 122.81. Failed to break that level today. Tons of space though. Next time we pull back, we are looking for an hourly high or low, anything above 118.86. And we will have to see the hourly trend change confirmed for the daily high or low to convincingly be set. So if you're bullish the biotech sector overall, definitely worth watching for an entry on an hourly high or low compared to 118.86. Semiconductors are weaker than the tech sector today, which is notable because over the past month plus, semiconductors have been very correlated to the tech sector, but stronger. So we're still at the lows. We're watching hourly RSI right at oversold conditions. If we see more bear follow through tomorrow, that hourly RSI will be oversold. General rule of thumb, hourly oversold conditions, when looking for a daily high or low, that's when you start scouting. There's a gap to fill at 187.24. NVDA pulled back real hard today. 492 support coming into play here. So some semiconductors with some key levels. And again, it is standing out to me. NVDA double top at the all-time high. And the volume is showing an exodus out of this name on that double top rejection. Doesn't mean we can't hold support, but it is notable to see that kind of bear volume and that kind of follow through from a double top at the all-time high rejection. And again, HD was similar yesterday, but it's bouncing today. So the fact that the semiconductors are yet to bounce stands out a bit. Worth watching for tomorrow. Solar names also looking for a daily high or low compared to 64.48, but again, no hourly trend change. So no confidence that it has set that daily high or low. That's what we're watching for tomorrow. Can bulls confirm hourly trend changes and set daily high or lows? We're still seeing the tech sector with a big mixed bag. This morning started with Apple strong and Netflix strong. Facebook was the weakest. Amazon was the weakest. And the sector was significantly going, or I should say those individual names, significantly going in opposite directions. You're not going to see many days where Apple is green 0.5 to 1% and Amazon is red 3%. And because of that, QQQ is fluctuating because that's the number one and number two most important stocks for QQQ going in different directions. So still watching the swirling and shifting that's going on since yesterday and since that vaccine news as things start to settle in a little bit, but definitely still some more settling to do as we watch to see how these relationships start to shape up from here. The VIX tried that bullish reversal candle on the daily. Little bit of a bounce, not much follow through, not much conviction and follow through. Just said that. So we need a 4-hour trend change. 22.40 is the low, high of the bounce, 26.80. Bulls need to hold 22.40 and break 26.80 to see follow through from here. And bigger picture, I don't see any clarity in the VIX in the short term. If there's anything we've learned over 2020, it's that these slow grind downs lead to falling wedges where we just run out of energy and then it's a fast, hard move. And then it's a slow grind down and we start to set a bottom and it's a fast, hard move and a slow grind down, fast, hard move. This was a fast drop down. Let's see if the initial fast drop then leads to slow grind down. That has been the pattern. So that's one thing that has been useful, knowing that the VIX is going to see a spike here soon, not talking about right now, but talking about the past couple times it has happened. That's the only use that I have gotten from the VIX. I know other traders focus on it more and have a lot more clues to gain from it, but just speaking for me, it's pretty much in the background as far as what I'm watching on a day-to-day basis. Gold is a 4-hour equilibrium, low of the dump, high of the bounce, higher low was set, lower high was set. So pretty much I'm watching 1867 support and 1891 resistance. I'm watching for a break of one of those levels, and it was a daily inside bar. Silver remains a bit stronger. We broke bullish, no follow through, but it is holding a daily uptrend. It did break 4-hour resistance, and those are two things that gold is not doing in comparison. The miners are way weaker. closing at the low of the day. We knew that bounce yesterday was just an hourly lower high, so the hourly downtrend is following through. But to close at the low of the day, a good bit below the low of yesterday, while the metals, both silver and gold, were not close to the low of yesterday, does stand out. That being said, we're watching for a potential play off of 3601 on GDX. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on that for the next couple of days to see if there's a play off that level. Oil, follow through. We're right up at the high of yesterday. We did break it by 13 cents. Still watching key 4202 resistance as the bulls attempt a monthly higher low in both oil and the energy sector. And that's something we're going to be watching over the next couple of months. And natural gas, daily bounce is underway. We're watching for a daily lower high compared to 310. And we'll see how much bounce follow through we can get from here. Nice little short-term trade. We had the double top at 2752 and 2762. And as soon as that level broke, we saw a solid few percent of follow through. But bigger picture, good bit of a ways to go, 10% back to that recent top. So that's where we stand. Could easily see a lower open or a higher open. This is one of those scenarios where I just have no idea. And we were setting up for the bulls to try and confirm an hourly trend change into the end of the day. And it was a battle. Look at the 5-minute time frame for QQQ. So we need a 5-minute trend change for the hourly higher low to be set. And these bulls just could not get it into the end of the day. And SPY was the same thing. Bears were certainly playing defense on all these resistance rejections. So I have no idea which direction I'm going to be looking for a day trade tomorrow. It depends on where we are pre-market and what the overnight session does. So not much preparation I can do right now. Preparation has to be done in the wee hours of the morning. So the setup that was beautiful today, and it was like a proud dad moment watching the chat room because other people were seeing it as I was seeing it and even before I was seeing it. So we see the bounce underway in QQQ. And we say, okay, that's a sizable bounce. We know we're looking for a 5-minute high or low here. Aggressive bulls are looking for an entry on this consolidation and using the low of the day as a stop for the hourly oversold bounce to get going. We confirm the 5-minute trend change. Great, hourly oversold bounce is going. We now watch for a loss of the 5-minute uptrend to set the hourly lower high. We know an hourly lower high is the most likely scenario from this bounce because of how much weakness we have been seeing. We know to be watching for the hourly oversold bounce because some RSI levels are really beat up. Facebook's hourly RSI was 20. Amazon was down in the mid-20s. QQQ's hourly RSI got down to, at the low of the day, it was mid-20s as well. So 5-minute trend change, hourly oversold bounce underway, and we scout, patient bears, scout the hourly lower high being set. We then had a 5-minute setup here where we were watching for a head and shoulders pattern. And right about here, I started saying, I'm keeping an eye out for a head and shoulders. But I said, it's a bit too early to post. Haven't even formed the head yet. So I'm going to hold off posting that in the chat room. And then, of course, somebody else posts in the chat room to be watching for a head and shoulders. I believe it was Joel. Let me double check that. So it was Paul who saw it first. Paul B posted, keeping an eye out for an Apple and a QQQ 5-minute head and shoulders. We then pulled back. The neckline support was 284.40. We held it by 7 pennies, bounced, failed to break resistance by 27 cents, and that is your ideal scenario. What is your risk to reward here? You're looking for an hourly lower high. Let's say on this initial bounce, you make your entry, and you are bearish at 285.80, and you want to give a little bit of wiggle room. So let's just say you're risking $1 to give a good bit of wiggle room over the high of the day. And if we hit 286.70, you get stopped out. And then the follow through, multiple dollars to the downside, over $3. There's your perfect risk to reward. If you're risking $1 and your reward is up to $3, there you have it. The pattern was confirmed when 284.47 broke, but the play was entering on the right shoulder, anticipating a lower high and putting your stop above the high of the bounce to that point. So that was your hourly lower high forming, and it was just a perfect textbook example. Know the longer term, most likely scenario, an hourly lower high, and then you zoom in and find a good risk to reward setup with clues that that most likely scenario is indeed playing out. So we're doing the same thing right now. We're looking for daily higher lows, and we need to zoom in and see hourly trend changes indicating to us that the most likely scenario of daily higher lows is indeed playing out. And that's what we're going to be watching into tomorrow. Hope you had a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. Don't forget to do good things. Do good things for yourself. Today, I am getting into a new routine with working out more as we enter into the winter. Trying to stay in a little bit better shape. Just want to move around more during the day and not be glued to the screen and glued to the chair. So hopefully some of you will be inspired to do the same. Get some free weights next to your desk. Get some bars or some bands. You can even stay sitting and get a nice band attached to your desk and do some biceps and some shoulders. We'll see you tomorrow.